I would like to ask myself, if I just saw this coin now, do I think this will go up, right? Like if I'm a different trader and I saw this coin at 5 million, would I bid this thinking it'd go to 20 million or 10 million? Does a token seem good enough to hit these
Hello,
numbers?
everybody. This is the very first podcast on the Loop server, and today's guest is Spare. Hey, what's up, bro?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm happy to do this and help DCN out.
Yes.
Kind of
So
excited for this
the
too.
mission is to show trenchers how it's done. Because everybody is looking for the answers. Everybody is trying to have some edge over somebody else and stuff like that. So the mission is to invite trenchers, KOLs, and basically anybody who knows their shit to this podcast to share their experience, their tactics and stuff like that. So my first question is, what is your PNL?
As of now, I have about 87K.
Nice.
From when I started. I'm up around 87K.
And what was your starting balance? Like, when did you start and what was it?
I started like around this time last year. And I started like just a couple $100. I think it was like $300-$400. And I didn't see much progress. I'd go up a couple thousand, I'd go down to like $100, and it was this constant cycle where I was just stuck. I feel like a lot of people are they haven't hit the 10K mark, or they haven't hit like a certain goal, and they kind of just go up and down, and that's what I did for a while.
What did you change in order to kind of take off or somehow change your approach or the results,
My biggest thing that I would try to tell trenchers or anyone that's in this space that wants to grow is kind of avoid the noise on CT, like any public shills, because your goal as a KOL or even just a trencher is to sell the idea that this token is not only valuable but can still like create value. So we see a lot of people that will go on Twitter, because that's kind of like where our space is at, and they'll see a KOL with 100,000 followers or more or something, something like that, and they'll show this token at $10 million dollar market cap, and they convince themselves that they can still hit a 5-10x on it. I see a lot of people like they just make like simple mistakes, like full porting. Like risk management is one of the biggest things that traders kind of avoid, and it completely wrecks them. But also not creating your own thesis on the token and just following what a KOL does. Like if a KOL is like, "Hey guys, this is the next peanut," this is that to me is like a red flag. That is kind of where I look to exit. Is once like people start putting this hopium on Twitter, and you have all this attention on token. That is like my exit, because that's kind of your goal, is to get other people to buy so that you could sell on them.
Yeah, I completely get it. Like KOLs, I think I view every single token as a shitcoin. I mean, not every single token. I view every single crypto except for Bitcoin as a shitcoin. And I'm that kind of guy. Like I've been in crypto for like 7 years, and I've seen some stuff. And yeah, that's exactly how you described it. Like if KOL is shilling some coin, it's basically your exit, or you should be looking for exit, because he's like.
Yeah, I mean, like this place is very much an attention focused like space. Last cycle, ETH had the attention with NFTs, and that's why ETH went crazy. This cycle we have Solana, and it's the same reason why we're going crazy. But when it comes to meme tokens, the attention comes and goes rather quickly, like really quick. One of the tokens that I was looking at that like pumped like a lot, and I thought maybe our market would shift and we kind of go back to the old ways, was Mask, Cat with Mask. If you know that token.
Yeah.
Pumped to like 30 million, and I think it's sitting at like sub 10 right now. And that was kind of like the thought process, like that token pumped within a day or two, and everyone on CT was talking about it. I was sidelined because the risk to reward just didn't seem right to me at like 20 or 30 million, because at 100 million, that's barely a 3x or a little over a 3x, and that didn't seem like good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people were kind of using TA or whatever and trying to get people to buy, but as you can see in the chart, it's just kind of on a downtrend.
Mm-hmm. And you actually think that TA works, or I know some people do, but what is your opinion?
No, TA works. I mean, TA barely works on like altcoins now, as we see. Trump can say something and we'll drop 10% on the hour or something insane. But TA on meme coins, I tell my group, never use TA and never bid a token because of someone's TA on a meme coin, just because there's no use case. So you're kind of just speculating. Um, and like, sometimes it's like all right to kind of put as like a support, like let's say a token's at 3 million and there's like some higher low or something and you're like, well, if it breaks here, I'm gonna sell. That's fair, but I try not to use TA as like a buy, more of like an exit,
Mm-hmm.
just because for me personally, I will never get upset with myself or with the trade if I made money, regardless of oh, I did a 2x or a 10x or whatever. It's like I still booked my profit.
Yeah, PSP.
Yeah, exactly. PSP. And that's just kind of how I work. Like most people, I think in this space want to hit 100 soul lick every trade, and they think this way, and it really fucks them up. Like I try not to round trip as much. I'd like to just book profit and make my portfolio grow slowly, but it grows. I think a lot of people are still stuck where I was last year, where I was just consistently going up and down, up and down, up and down,
Mm-hmm.
and never actually just went up.
What was the major thing you changed in order for you to be profitable?
Risk management is the biggest thing that a trader should know.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing, like, if you have a port of, let's say, 10 SOL, oh, what would you say is like the average port right now for most traders? Like,
I don't know. I think it differs from the country they are located in. So, for
okay,
example,
I'll do.
I'm in Europe, and since
Uh-huh.
Europe is not, I mean, it is capitalistic, right? And but the value of money is like higher there than in US. Let me explain.
Mhm.
Like 10k in US doesn't mean 10k in Europe. In Europe, it would be like, I don't know, 4k euros, right? I mean,
Mhm.
counting in inflation and cost of living and stuff like that. So I think average in Europe is like American divided by two. So I don't know. I don't know what because you are from US, so you should know
Yeah.
what the average portfolio is, or at least you can have some idea. So maybe you have the
I
answer.
mean, I think the average port that I've seen, like just on Twitter, I see a lot of people with like, the one SOL port thing is like I think a popular comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll just use that. Like if you have one SOL,
Oh, I mean, you mean
you
starting port?
I mean, we could do like starting porter. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, you should never put more than like 10%. Like, 10% is like too much,
Mm-hmm.
like for me. But like, let's say you have a gamble port of like 10 soul. All right.
Yeah.
10, like one soul is fine. It's 10% of your portfolio. So you could take a couple of shots and, it will affect your portfolio. But doing anything more than 10% is just kind of setting up yourself for failure. I know when you're starting out and you have one soul or, however, wherever other people's starting point is, they kind of want to make as much money as possible. So they full port and, they get wrecked. They
Yeah.
go to zero 9 times out of 10.
It happened to everybody at least
Yeah.
once.
Yeah. And, some people are just like, hey, I'll just load up another soul, and they'll continue this cycle just because they see Twitter, and Twitter is like, it's a nice space to be in, like community wise, but mentally, like it makes these people think that they'll turn their extra $20, extra $50 into 50 grand. And while some do, this is just kind of like it's just not good. Like with this mindset, you'll never really be profitable thinking like this.
Yeah. So risk management is the most important. So what is, you said 10% is too much. What do you think is like a reasonable
Like
risk management for one trade?
I think 10% should be max of your portfolio.
And what's your like average? What's your average
Like my average.
percentage for entry in the trade?
I risk like let's say I have like 20. I usually keep my port around 20 SOL,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll risk like 5 to 10%. So either 1 to 2 SOL
Mm-hmm.
per trade starting out. And then, let's say I am on a losing streak and I go down to 10 SOL. I'll use max 1 SOL. I won't overexpose myself
Mm-hmm.
so I could like lose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like my goal, and I try to tell my group, is I'm very much different from other traders because I know that if I play this game slowly and I averagely like per month like go up 10%, 10-15%, by the end of this cycle and when, the tension is gone from here, I'll walk away a winner regardless.
Yeah.
Others might not
Yeah.
because they'll just stay in this facade where they continue to think they'll turn 1 SOL into 1,000 SOL off of one trade, and it's like I would love to do that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but
So for
I'm a
people,
realist when it
so
comes
for
to
people
here.
listening with 1 to 2 SOL portfolios, 0.05 or 0.1 max per trade.
Yeah, I would look to do that and just build your port up. That's kind of like the main thing. If you have like 1 to 2 SOL, I try to tell my group at least like put like 1.1 SOL, 0.2 SOL max if you have conviction, and then sell your initials. Like it never hurts to sell your initials and basically be like free, basically free money essentially if you'll think about it. Just don't overexpose yourself, and when you have the chance to take your initials out at a 2x, 3x, or however you want to trade, take your initials out and just trade with what you have less.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. Because I also had some
Mhm.
dark moments, especially last year when everything was booming. Because I think right now the market is pretty slow compared to last year. And
Yeah, yeah, it is.
yeah, I had I once didn't sell a 24K profit from like a really really small amount of money, and
Mhm.
that's when I just fucking decided, to cheat basically everything because
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm sure it hurts because you would take 24,000 right now. I know I would,
yeah, yeah, of course.
right? So I think that's kind of like the problem with this space is, I mean, I have some friends in my group that have done the same thing where they're up 40 grand, 50 grand on a trade and they don't sell because they have this like conviction.
Yeah.
But I always try to remind them is like, would you be mad at yourself for having an extra 50 grand? If not, take the profit, dude. It doesn't hurt to take profit.
Yeah.
We're here to win, not just see the goal, get almost to the goal, and then just like walk away from it.
Hmm.
Like this, my friend round trip, like I think like 50, 60 grand on one trade and sold for 12K profit, which is still nice, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, of course.
I was very eager to, I was telling her like, bro, just sell. You won't be upset in a month that you made this money.
Yeah, exactly. Because profit is profit. That's also what
Exactly,
I
yeah.
what I always repeat. And
Yeah, I try to.
you mentioned you top up your trading wallet with 20 sol every time
Mhm.
you reach what, 2x from that, or how do you do it?
So I talked to my friend Dust. I'm not sure if you know him. He goes by Dust XBT on Twitter. He's a
Oh,
good friend of mine.
well, I don't know
He
him.
told you don't know him. He's a pretty good trader. He's a really good
I mean,
trader,
I'm
actually.
really like I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter. I mean, I do,
Mhm.
but it's right now it's so saturated. It's hard to keep up.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it is. Like, there's so many new people coming in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he told me, because I had the same problem. Like, I was trying to grow a gamble port, and I'd hit 100 soul, or right around 100 soul, and I'd overexpose myself a little bit, and I'd come down. And he told me, he's like, yo, start at 20 soul. Once you reach 100 soul, stable to 80 soul, and just keep it in a vault account, like in a vault wallet, if you will.
Yeah.
This way, you manage your risk because once, I mean, I've seen people do it and I've done it too, where you have, you start at like 10 soul and you run it up to 50 plus soul. So now you think you're the shit and you start putting 5, 10 soul clips and overexposing yourself, putting 20% of your portfolio into a coin thinking you'll hit a 10x, which is nice, but
Mm-hmm.
most people get wrecked doing this.
Yeah, of course, because it's the same shit.
Hmm.
Even if you have like one soul or you have 100 soul, you will
Yeah, the
eventually get
problem
wrecked
is like still,
by not being patient or like having a poor
yeah,
risk management.
exactly.
You know. And what is your strategy? Like you explained your risk management, but
Hmm.
what's your actual strategy? Because right now, if I open Axiom, for example, I don't know if you use that bot, but
Yeah, I do.
yeah, when I open Axiom and I hit pulse, there's like a lot of noise, a lot of new tokens coming out. And what is the main thing you're looking for when you are aping a coin?
So, looking at a token, I do like I trade like two ways essentially. I either trade off of volume.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say this like some coin just has crazy volume. I was looking at a coin earlier today and I did an ape, but it had really good volume and you could scalp those trades. Like if you scalp trades, if you're someone that like likes doing that, being in and out and making some money, high volume things would be what I would consider. I wouldn't I never like ape the top because it doesn't always work out for me. Sometimes it does and it's kind of exciting, but I usually look for like a dip of like 10, 15%. I like to see if it holds, and if it holds and I kind of see some movement,
Mm-hmm.
like up like an uptrend, I'll I'll take that gamble, especially if it has good volume and the narrative seems okay.
Yeah, and what are your
That's something
filters?
I'll do.
Because obviously, if you're looking for coins with good volume, you have to have the filter set correctly.
Yeah, let me open up Axiom.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to explain them like word for word, but you are setting your volume to some minimum value, and that's where you're looking for, or
I set it at like 100K
oh,
because my
okay.
goal isn't like my goal with on Pulse isn't to just narrow out every token that doesn't meet like a certain criteria. It's more to just narrow out every token that is like a rug, or just
Yeah,
like just a blatant rug where it has, you could just tell that it's like some bundled shit.
yeah, of course.
My goal is to just minimize as much noise as possible. So what it does is it allows me to look at, 15, 20 tokens that have bonded in the past like 6 hours or whatever. And I'll just kind of filter out and I'll see like which one might have an upside, potential 2, 3, 4, 5x from here. Uh, but I mainly trade off of volume or I try to like front run new narratives. I don't know if you saw something called like Fart Book like a week or two ago.
No, I didn't. I wasn't actually trading
You didn't?
back then. No.
Oh, okay. Well, it was like a spin-off of a Facebook, but it had like a fart
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know,
Yeah.
I know. And
Okay. Okay.
it blew out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
it died, and then
I
it.
caught that at like 100K, I
Oh,
think. And I I did kind of fumble it because I was busy, but I told my group I was like, this is kind of funny. I was like, keep an eye out for any Instagram, like any social media with fart in it. It'll probably bond, and it did. I caught Fart Book, I got Instafart, I got the YouTube fart or whatever it was, pumped up fart. I caught a bunch of them like sub 10, 15K
mm-hmm.
just because I knew that like the narrative was pretty solid, the token was doing well, and I knew that other people would consider looking for a derivative, and they did. And
Yeah.
I made good money off of that.
So you trade new pairs as well.
I trade new pairs if only there's like an OG, if you will. Like I will only trade new pairs if I know that it's a derivative of something that is popular, popping off and
Mm-hmm.
can give that I can like confidently consider it will bond at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it might dump after, but
So you're kind
I knew
of
that
hoping for a vamp attack. I mean, vamp. like draining liquidity from the alpha. Like let's say
Well,
you find a beta play in new pairs, and you are kind of sure that it will get some volume from the alpha play. Like
yeah. I
yesterday
mean,
there
I
was
think
a
like
sorry for speaking over you, but yesterday
no, you're okay.
there was a coin which didn't have name, and it was a cat in cameo. If you remember.
Oh, I wasn't on yesterday,
Oh yeah,
but
there was a coin. It didn't have a name. Like it was a cat in camo suit, you know, like
oh,
the
okay.
ones soldiers use. And then there was
Hmm.
a beta play for that, which was the dog, a dog, you know, dressed exactly like that, and it kind of had similar volume, like not quite like the first one, but
Hmm.
there was a little bump attack, and you could do like 2x, 3x easy. So
Yeah, I would.
you're looking for that, yeah, basically.
Essentially, yeah, I'm looking for a beta, yeah. Like, I don't ever want to overexpose myself. I try to consider that they'll at least bond, but I won't, like, if, let's say, it's at like 40K, and bond's at 50K, the risk to reward, for me isn't there. Like, you could scalp it and gain like 50% off of bond, but, I kind of, I tend to avoid those. Just like anything, I try to avoid new pairs of a beta, like that's a beta, that's over 40, 50K, just because to me the risk to reward just doesn't seem like there. I'm very much like someone that likes to save their soul and then just kind of put money into either perp trades or
Mm-hmm.
like something that I feel confident in, like fart coin. That's kind of my biggest. That's one of the things I swing the most is fart coin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty smart and pretty patient, which is like the key in the space, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, having patience in this space, like having patience will make you win. Like if you're like for me, like my port grows every month simply because I follow this strat and I stick to it regardless of what I want to do. Like the only thing I ever overexpose myself on is fart coin, but I think it's pretty fair to say that that is like the main uh token
Mm-hmm.
this cycle that everyone's kind of looking at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I think I don't want to be like saying that I'm pretty sure about it, but I think it has a lot of potential. Like it's the Dogecoin of pump fund tokens, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel the same. I feel the same way. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good token, and
Yeah, so it makes
obviously, I
sense.
manage my risk pretty well on it. Like, yeah, I'll cut my losses, and I'll like kind of limit myself. But so far, I've called the bottom and I've called the top on Fartcoin a few times, and I've made really good money off of that.
Hmm. And I had a question, but I forgot. Oh my god. Let me think about it.
Like, okay.
Uh, yeah. So when is the time you don't trade at all? Like, are you always looking for some opportunities, or are there days you simply don't turn on your PC at all? Like, for example,
Um,
right now when Trump attacked, I mean when US attacked Iran, did you trade, or you just?
I traded a little bit. It was more like front running stuff. Like one of my friends caught a bunker coin and we got into that like I think like 70K
Mm-hmm.
and we sold unfortunately because we thought the war was over and like this is just like a fake war. And then I think US bombed Iran and that shit pumped to like 1.5 mil.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't really trade when I don't know, I don't feel like confident or I'm just like I try not to force trades. That's my thing. Is like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people say like you got to clock in or log in today and keep clicking,
Yeah.
and it's like I feel like that's an unhealthy habit. We're promoting gambling to its maximum degree, like spending 18 plus hours, or not, maybe not 18, but like 8 plus hours a day just to be unprofitable is just crazy to me. I kind of just trade when I feel like it because I know the market isn't that hot right now. If the market's hot, yeah, I'll be up 12, 15 hours a day just trading all day
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of make as much as I can. But I try not to force trades and force myself to trade because that's where you lose, especially on low volume days like Sunday or something. clocking in on a Sunday or clocking in on a low volume day or where everyone's bearish is you're gonna lose. You
Yeah.
know, you might think you won't, and some days you won't, but I see a lot of people just overexpose themselves on a day where they shouldn't, and they lose.
Hmm. Yeah, and I also noticed that your president likes to do some stupid bullshit every single Sunday for like past 2 months. So
Yeah,
it's pretty bad day for trading indeed. And
yeah, and that's I tried telling everyone, just like I try to tell my friends at least, like, yo, I'm not trading for these reasons, and I think you guys should too. And every time they'll be like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't have traded. I lost like 5 soul, 10
hmm
soul.
hmm
And it's like, I think I just instinctively know that like it's not the risk to reward. Like that's how I base everything. It's just not there.
hmm And you also, I suppose, you track bullets, right?
No, I don't track wallets actually.
Oh, you don't? Not a single one.
Yeah, I don't. No, I took wallets off of my tracker because I think it's just like an extra mental hoop that you have to go through with wallet trackers. Like for me, I strictly do not buy anyone's like shills unless it's like a friend's, like a close friend.
Hmm.
Simply because I don't know, I think I've lost so much on just other people's shills that I just don't trust them. I like to form my own thesis on it
Hmm.
before someone else can make it for me. Like sell the coin to me. I don't like that. I like to form my own thesis. I don't like buying because someone else bought because it's just I think it's just dumb, honestly. Oh,
Hmm.
Gake bought this coin, let me just buy on top of them.
Oh yeah, of
You
course.
know, it's
You're
just
waiting. I mean, you want yourself being in that coin before he buys it,
yeah,
because
like
of
and
the
that's
cake
kind of
candle.
like where I try to preach is like if you can form your own thesis, you'll front run these calls all the time. Because like, do you really think that they trade on one wallet before they ape on their public wallet?
Of course not.
No, they don't. They ape on a side wallet or two side wallets or more, and then they ape on their public ones because they know the volume it brings.
Yeah, but I'm not
And
like thinking about tracking the KOLs, but
Mhm.
actually trying to
Are you
find
trying to
their
track?
their side wallets, for example, or something like that. Have you ever tried that?
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you can find that, good shit. To me, I just don't even like bother doing it. I like forming my own thesis, buying the token, and just seeing how my thesis plays out. If it's wrong, it's wrong, and I move on. But if it's right, which I tend to be right, like 60% right, it goes well.
So your win rate is 60%.
Roughly, yeah. I
Mm,
mean, it dips sometimes, but
yeah, that's pretty good. And how important? Do you have any copy traders, or since you said that it's pretty dangerous to share your wallet because of the drains and stuff like that. So I suppose you don't share your wallet. Am I right?
yeah, I don't. I try not to share my wallet at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just I think I have a couple copy traders, but I don't think they copy trade me because they know me. I think they just saw that I was like one of the top traders and I have a positive P&L, so they just added my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I try not to share my wallet because I did in the past, and I was really good at finding like TikTok trend coins, and
Mm-hmm.
either someone, I mean, it just felt like someone would either just make a copy of that token and send that shit to a million
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just stuck there with the dead token, or they just farm everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my problem. Is like that shit was so annoying that I moved all my wallets and I got rid of my old wallets and I just now I have like 4 wallets that I use that no one knows of.
Mm-hmm. And if you had to put it in like 3 simple points, what is the most important thing about a coin you are about to ape in? You said volume, and then what? Like it being funny, or what is it?
So when it comes to a token that I want to ape, I want to ape something that is unique and it doesn't like. Well, sorry, let me restart. I like to ape 2 types of tokens. Okay, they're 2 very different. One is purely based off of volume, and that's because I like to scalp tokens. Put 2, 3 soul, get like a 30, 40% gain just scalping, or 30% gain. You're making pretty good money. You're probably beating other people too, just doing that. Or I like to front run stuff with like a good narrative, like a fart book for. I mean, like mentioned earlier, fart book was a good one because I knew how easily it'd be copied later on. It was just a matter of when, not if.
So it being like the first of its kind, like the social media
Yeah,
connected to farting, was
yeah, it's
a
just like
like green
starting a new
flag for you.
trend, something unique in the spaces that can be easily like replicated. That's something that I would consider most people to look into.
Yeah. So right now, if somebody opens pools on Axiom, and they're seeing a couple of coins which are like replicas of Chill Guy, you advise them to not buy, right?
Yeah, especially if they bonded. Like the risk to reward isn't there. I like to consider that betas right now, currently in this market, they very rarely touch like 200K. Very rarely. Most of them touch anywhere from 100 to 150K if they don't nuke like pass bone. So yeah, I mainly stay away from betas unless I can get in like sub 20K because that's when the money's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And oh my god, I forgot what I wanted to ask. Give me a
No,
second.
you're okay.
Shit, should have started. I mean, I should have
Well, we have a few
wrote the question
people.
down.
You can have them ask in chat if they have any questions or anything.
Yeah, but they don't have the role to speak. So this is purely
No,
for
I mean
like
like in
YouTube and stuff. But I have some questions from the server because
okay.
some of the people wanted to ask you something. So I'll start with that. Valito says, so yeah, I wonder how to deal with exercising conviction slash confidence in a coin and adapt to the current condition of it so I don't get farmed or hold it to zero.
Yeah, that's a good question. Conviction is a bitch, not gonna lie. I had that problem and I still kind of sometimes have that problem, which is why I said earlier that I like to just book profit and walk away. Um, Having too much conviction in a token, it's not that it's bad, but you tend to kind of round trip it when you have too much conviction. You know, like I feel people just want to hit these crazy trades where they can post on
I would like
Twitter
to
and
ask
have
myself,
people comment
if
or
I
some
just
shit
saw
or
this
W,
coin now,
and you know,
do
obviously
I
hit like
do I
100 soul
think
plus P and
this
L,
will
which is
go up,
nice, but
right?
having
Like if
too
I'm a
much
different
conviction on a
trader
token can really
and I
fuck
saw
you
this
up.
coin at 5
Like
million,
especially,
would I bid
for
this
example, let's
thinking
say you
it'd
got
go
in a
to
coin
20 million
at
or
500K
10 million
and that bitch
is
ran
a
up to 5
token, does a
mil,
token
right? So
seem
you
good
10x to
enough?
hit these numbers. Most of the time, it's no. You know, I don't see this token doing this. So I kind of just I do like an evaluation of the token. If it's just some shitter that pumped up because Alan tweeted about it or the Tolly tweeted about it, then I try to like get out by the first pump.
And I
It's
know what I
typically
wanted to
like
ask. I wanted to ask about the importance of not trading alone because everybody mentions it that you should always be like glued to the screen in some voice chat and stuff like that. And do you think that's important or how do you do it?
I have my group of friends that I think we have like 13 people total.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, we're not glued to the screen all the time because we know that the market isn't hot. When the market was hot, yeah, we'd all be like trenching together and kind of on call or something, just trying to help each other grow. But trading alone is rough. I would not recommend it. I would try to find one or two people in the same spot as you and just kind of form an alliance, like where you can trust them like 100%. Like I know for at least my group, if I don't know, if I like had to borrow money, for example, I know that they would help me out because they're my friends, you know, like we have that trust that one, they'll know I'll pay them back and like vice versa. If they ask me for money, I'd be like, yeah, man, here's 2 soul, 3 soul. You
Mhm.
know, let's run this bitch up and you can just pay me back when you can.
Mhm. So
Like it's a support thing, really.
yeah, so it is important. I mean,
Yeah.
just by thinking about it, briefly, having another set of eyes is better in the market
Yeah, because they
because
can also like talk about your thesis. Like if you think, you know, hey, this token I think is going to do well because of this, this, and that, they could look at the token and, you know, kind of give you second thought.
yeah.
Like, hey, I don't, it looks a little toppy, or this person's in this token and they're a farmer. You know, just kind of give you like kind of help you out, really. Just get a second thought on the token can really, really help out a trader.
So it helped you a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean it not just like for trading, but also for morale. Like I'm not gonna say that I'm a perfect trader. Like I don't think anyone is. You have your ups and downs, and I have, sometimes more downs than ups in a month. And be like, man, fuck this. And, they'll just say like, they'll help me out. They'll have that support that no one in real life will understand.
hmm Another question from the server is, how do I not get greedy when my port starts to get bigger and bigger? And how should you manage risk? Well, that's pretty much, that was already answered at the beginning of the podcast, which is like your risk management is maximum 10% of port, and something between
Yeah.
5 to 10, yeah. And rarely 10, am I correct?
Yeah, I try to not do like, I mean, I typically do like 5%, 5 to 10% is all right. I'd never really do more than that. And yeah, like just have a goal set up in your mind for when you want to like restart your port. What I mean is like how Dust told me, start at 20, and once you get to 100 or roughly 100, just stable the 80 soul and just put it in a vault wallet. You won't be mad at yourself later on for securing profit and stabling profit. If anything, you'll be grateful that you did rather than just continue this cycle of going up and down, trying to turn it into 1,000 soul.
Mm-hmm. And another question, it's, I mean, the remaining three questions are pretty much related to people not taking profits, which we already mentioned is very important, and P is P.
Yeah.
So whenever you have profit, you should just take it or just de-risk, and work with the rest of the bag. And the question is, my port is getting bigger and bigger, but I still feel uncomfortable to ape more, and often I sell too early. What do I need to change? I mean, if I can answer
Okay.
that, and then you will answer. I don't think there's anything which needs to be done at this point, because profit is profit, and you're on a good path.
Well,
That's what I think.
let's say you want to like I try to tell my group is you could trade how I trade, and then you could also do like what I kind of implement sometimes is, let's say I'm green for the week, right? I made 20 sold this week or 30 sold this week. What I try to do is I try to put a good chunk of that to like my vault wallet, and I'll stable it, and then just like a smaller chunk of it I'll keep in soul, and I'll use this as my one-time shot for something big. I'll ape 5, 10 soul, which is not normally something I do, but I will this time because I kind of saved this. Like, think of it as like your one shot per week to hit something big, right?
Mm.
Like, if you see a high volume token, or you have conviction in a token, or you want to multi wallet a sub 10K shitter, this is where I would do it. Take your one chance per week or per month, however you want to do it. After you saved up, kind of put some soul aside to allow yourself. Doing this will give you that one shot. You could, because you're already green,
Yeah.
or hopefully you're already green,
So
and you already have your port at this level, and you kind of just saved up this soul to allow yourself. Like, I've hit crazy plays doing that.
some
I've
kind of
hit,
like a gamble allowance, something like that.
yeah, yeah, like and if you just think of it as like not real money, just try to put no emotion to it at all, and just trust your thesis. And if your thesis doesn't work out, hey, it doesn't work out, but it didn't fuck up your whole port because you allowed yourself
Yeah.
this extra 5-10 soul to lose.
Or also, leaving something in can be the answer, right? Like selling 95% instead of 100%.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've definitely have sold 100% a little too soon, and fuck, even 10% of that token would have been so much more than what I booked profit. It depends. For me, at least, like sometimes I don't even want to look at a chart because I've looked at charts for so long that I'll just exit. Sometimes I'll leave a little moon bag and just kind of leave it there. Like, I think I have like 4 moon bags right now and some shitters that are at like 5K just because I don't even care.
Yeah. And the last question is, I always find myself in the right place, but still end up losing money. How do we know when a coin is alpha, and what should be the exit strategy?
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think, like, for me and my group at least, I like to like when I shill a token, what I'll do is I'll find a token on Pump or something, and I'll send it in, and I'll put my level of conviction. Like it's a gamble, right? But then I also kind of use, I don't want to say historical data like similar tokens ran up to this market cap. So I'll say like, hey, this is maybe a 200 to 350K topper. And that's kind of where my exit is. I usually exit around in the middle of that, like 300K, a little bit less than that. But it really just depends on the trader. Like if you're willing to just take the dips and, just kind of, if you, well, yeah, if you're willing to just accept the dips and just kind of hold and bag work and all that, then, go ahead. But I try to just book profit and walk away from the coin and really never look back at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good approach. I think we kind of went through everything we wanted or we needed. It was very nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
kind of
This
fun.
was Spare, just to be sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be clear. And my
Mhm.
name is well, I pronounce it Vugabo, but I know English-speaking people will pronounce it differently. But whatever. And we can link your filters for pulls somewhere if you want to share them.
Yeah, I
And
can share them.
yeah, I hope the listeners kind of learned something new. And it was very nice talking to you, bro.
Yeah, and if anyone's hearing, and if you have like any questions personally that you didn't get a chance answered, you could always, I don't know if you can DM me on Discord. I don't use Discord too much, but if you want to now, you could I can reply, or you can find me on X or something, and I'll reply to you and just help you guys out. Because my goal is to help everyone win. You
Yeah,
know.
we'll definitely link your socials to the description.
Okay.
Thanks
All
again
right. Sounds
for
good.
stopping by, and good luck with everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you
no
too.
problem.